I've been wanting to set up text reminders to bookings inside of my Dubsado. I want them to get a text confirmation and then a reminder. I've been wanting to set this up and just haven't yet. And somebody asked about it inside of the Dubsado community. And I was like, oh, I should put a video together for this. So if you don't know me, I'm Lauren with The Smarter Creative. I help creative small business owners work smarter in their business instead of harder. I have done this setup for several clients. I just haven't done it for myself yet. What's the phrase? The cobbler has no shoes. So the issue is Dubsado does not currently, as of this recording date, early 2026, does not do text reminders. It also has limited Zapier connections of what it's able to do. What Zapier is a third-party tool that can take information from different places and send it different places. So if somebody books an appointment in Dubsado, that's great, but Dubsado is not sending that information to Zapier. Dubsado has very limited bits of like if something happens in Dubsado, Zapier can do other things. So the way I like to do a workaround is inside of Dubsado, I have my calendar, my Google Calendar attached to my Dubsado. So every time somebody books in Dubsado, it goes onto my calendar. And so that's actually what we're going to look for. And then you also need a texting app of sorts. And there's no free option of sending text messages. There are some options for like one-time text blasts if you don't want replies. I personally like a reply back or like be able to have a conversation like it's my number. I use an app called Project Broadcast for this. I've used it for years. It's pretty affordable. They're great to work with. They make sure everything's compliant. It works really well for what I do. There's a ton of other options out there. I've set this up using mobile text alerts for a client, and it really is just whatever tool you want to work with. So, and make sure it connects to Zapier because some of these tools don't actually connect with Zapier and we need them to. All right. So perfect. Okay. So inside of Zapier, I'm going to just start by creating a new Zap and we'll just do that right here. And my trigger then is going to be my Google Calendar. And if you're new to using Zapier, you might have to actually like connect your Google Calendar. But basically, I'm going to do it when a new event, when a new event's created, I'm going to look at my calendar here, just like that. We're in, continue. I'm going to choose my main calendar that I'm looking for, which is my events calendar. Test the trigger to pull in some data. And let's actually get one. None of these are quite right. That's okay. We'll just pick one of these and continue. And then I want to basically format and look for a phone number inside of the description of the calendar, right? Because I cannot do anything if I don't have a phone number inside of this calendar event. So I'm going to go into, it's either numbers or text. We're going to try text. And I'm looking for extract phone number. Perfect. If you hit a slash, it'll pull up like previous steps information. So I'm looking for not the summary, but the description. And this has no information in the description. The search value is going to have to be whatever it's going to be. So let's see if let me go ahead and make this work. I'm going to edit, and in my description, there we go. All right, this has a description. Okay, because I'm taking Mahjong classes. Okay, so usually inside of here we have, let me actually go into my calendar and pull a Dubsado appointment. So I went through and just made sure that this event calendar looks more so like what a Dubsado calendar event's going to look like. Okay, so there's a couple things that we need to do, but basically I want to pull out a phone number and then a So like, okay, here's their phone number, and now I need to filter by that phone number. So if we filter, and so I'm gonna only continue if text and formatter output exists, period. And then we'll continue. Because what I don't want to have happen is every time a new calendar appointment goes on my Google Calendar, if there's not a phone number in there, I don't want it to continue. I could also have it so where it's only truly picking up the Dubsado bookings because the description is pretty consistent. So I could say I also want it to include client name. So we can go, just in case somebody sends you an appointment and there happens to be another phone number in there, like your dentist does, and their cancellation phone number's on there, I don't want them to get a text confirmation. So I'm going to say that the output, the phone number exists, and in the description, it contains, and I'm just going to say it contains the word like client name, continue, and then it would continue. So this is like guaranteeing these are Dubsado bookings coming through. Okay, and you can always rename these to stay organized. So I'm going to say pull phone number. All right, continue. All right, so now I also want to pull my client name out of here. And there's a few ways to do that. We could run some Python code, but honestly, I think I'm just going to ask the AI version in here to see if it will pull their name. So we are going to input the description is the field name, and then I'm going to pull in the description here, and it is a text type. And I don't need any knowledge sources. And here, I want you to go over the description of this appointment booking and pull the first and last name and company name and the phone number with no parentheses or dashes. Just the 10-digit phone number and give it to me as 3 outputs. Let's see. So output 1, I'm going to say phone number. Required, yes. Add a field. First name, required. Save, field, last name, required, and company name, required. Oh, and I can pull the email also. Let's see. Add email. Also pull their email. All right, let's see. So now I can generate a preview. Let's see what this does. Okay, test per, oh, company name was too long. Okay. Let's see, submit to revise prompt. There we go. Okay, so the phone number, test, person, company name, great. So I'm using AI to finish AI. That's perfect. Yes, it's great. So I'll generate a preview again. Great. Okay. Finish. So this is rename, pulling data. And now here is where I want to either create a contact and then send them a text message. So under action, I'm going to use my project broadcast account, and I'm going to create, I need to make sure this is right. Okay, I'm going to find contact first in case they're already in. And I can use then the output of the AI here. Okay. And then I want to create a contact if it doesn't exist yet. So we're going to search for it and then create it. So I do have their email, their first name, last name. You are able to add tags, but I don't have any, so I'm just going to do that right now. I'm going to test the steps, see if it pulls. Data was not found, so it did create the person. That's amazing. And then I'm going to go back to Project Broadcast and send a message. So here I can just send a message to, I'll probably just use the find contact in the contact ID just to make sure it's like perfectly correct, and just say your appointment with the Smarter Creative has been booked for this date to, and then I want the end time. Cool. Booked on look forward to chatting with you then. Awesome. Continue. I can test it. And that was my Project Broadcast account. And I can see your appointment has been booked on January 13th, 2026 from 6 to 8. Look forward to chatting. So then they get confirmation that it's been booked. Awesome. So that is our confirmation text. So I'll rename it to Dubsado confirmation text. And I can publish it. And then I want to create basically a Zap that every day will send out a reminder to that person. So what I like to do is on a schedule, and it is a every day, I would say, continue at say 9 a.m. every day, or maybe 8:30 a.m. every day. We'll say 9. I don't take appointments until 10 typically, and then no, I don't want it to trigger on weekends. Continue. And so then every day at that time, it's going to run. And I want to basically create a loop where it's going to create a loop from line items. Okay, so I'm going to find in my Google Calendar events. And then I'm going to look for events for that day. So I'm going to add a step to format for today, date and time, continue, transform is format, input is going to just be today. We can just have it run like that. Time zone, I'm just going to pick my time zone. Perfect. Continue. Test the step. So it pulls today. So find events here. I'm going to choose my events calendar. And I want the start time to be, I'm going to do today at 6 p.m. and configure it to actually have a time. Okay, so today at 6 p.m. So we're going to configure it where the start time is before, and I'm going to pull in here, and it's after right now. And if multiple search is run, I want it to come back as line items. So we're going to continue. We're going to test the step. And I don't have any appointments for the rest of my day, so it came back false. Let's go ahead and add one. Okay, I went ahead and put one in. Let's retest it, see if we find anything. Perfect. So here in this looping, I want it to basically, it's going to do this action for every output that just got found. And the first thing we want to do is similar to the booking, I want to format that description with text and pull a phone number from it. So we're going to transform, extract phone number, and the input is that description. Continue, we're going to test it. Awesome. And then I'm going to add a step, which is going to filter, only continue, and then add a Google Meet appointment to this. Okay. So I'm going to filter just to make sure that the output exists and the description, again, so similar to the first part, contains the client name, because that's going to be, right, those are two things to make sure it's a Dubsado appointment that we actually want to send text on. Awesome. And then we are going to be able to just send a text to this person because they already are in Project Broadcast, because we already got them in. So I'm going to re-pull this to make sure that it has my Google Meet information in it. And then I can add the Project Broadcast, send a message. And here I should be able to just use my phone number that we pulled in our step 5 and say, looking forward, hey, it's Lauren with the Smarter Creative. I'm looking forward to meeting you today at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll do the meeting today at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time via Google Meet. Check your email if you need to reschedule. Just let me know. A friendly reminder that we have a meeting scheduled for today at Eastern Time. If you need to reschedule, just let me know. Looking forward to chatting. We could do the same thing with the AI that we did in the first step and actually pull their first name. So we could have their name, or even in Project Broadcast, we could still do a search for the person. So we could find contact and pull them by their phone number. This one, if it's a false, I want it to not do anything else, which is perfect. So I'm going to continue and I'll test this step. Awesome. And then if I continue, now I am able to, I would pull that information instead from my contact ID here, because it's just always like the best piece of information. And then I can configure here and do a slash and actually find their first name. Awesome. So continue. Let me test that out, see what it looks like. Perfect. Yay. And then it's like in my link, it's on my thing, and they can text back to me also. It's a two-way texting thing. So now what that's going to do is that's going to replay for all of my events that's scheduled for today, like for today's working day. So it's going to look at all my events, figure out if there's a phone number in it, and if it has contact name. If so, we're going to make sure they're in Project Podcast and then send them a message. And then I'll just repeat that for all of the events for the day. So let me just see if I continue. I cannot publish this. Why not? Appointment text. It's probably here. There we go. Okay, values to loop. Haha. All right. So my values to loop are going to be off of my events. So here I'm doing find events and I need to loop. Okay, I need to loop the description. I need to loop the start date. And that's it. I think that's the only ones we used. So then here, I want to make sure I'm using the loop description here, not the events description. Because if I'm pulling from this events description, then it's going to pull like all of my line items at once. And it's not going to give me what I need it to have. Perfect. So we are going to pull event description, continue. We will retest it. Continue, continue. We're going to make sure that this is pulling from the event description also. Continue, continue. And then this is still correct, the output of step 5, because it's within the loop. And the message needs to get adjusted to be the start time. Oh, I need to do the start time here, and then I have to loop the location as well because I want to pull that in. Results, location, continue. We'll retest the step. Like loop here, and then we're going to pull in the location there. Okay, so sorry about that. That is going to be editing Lauren. Have fun figuring out how to make that happen because that was wrong information. So now you have it and it's going to go and I can continue and now I can publish it. Zapier won't let you publish until your Zap is properly set up. So you don't have to worry about something not being done right. If it's not done right, it's not going to allow you to publish it. So you are good there. And yeah, that is how to get all of your appointments together. I really just hope this encouraged you to find ways to use Zapier to just serve you and your clients inside of your business to do some of those admin-y things. Like it's probably not a big deal for you to like manually text a client that their appointment's coming up. You could also do like that text reminder the day before. So instead of like you could run it to search for, well, yeah, anyways, you could do it the day before. There's things you'd have to do differently, but it's doable. And I will say that some of our AI friends like Claude and ChatGPT, they have some good recommendations with using Zapier and Dubsado, but just word to the wise, they're not always correct. They like to make things up sometimes. So just know that what they suggest isn't always right. But especially if you want to run like Python script or figure out how to use some of the formatting options, like the tools, it is really helpful in there to use. And yeah, I hope that was super helpful. If you need any support within your Dubsado or your Zapier, it's what I do. I love helping people with these things. And you can schedule a discovery call down below. We can chat how I can support you, or just check out my website, see what's available to you. Again, I'm Lauren with The Smarter Creative. Be sure to subscribe if this helped. And I'm so glad you're here and I am cheering for you, and I will see you next time.